just come in or high up.
Okay.
And I am a community builder for Midtown Indy. If for those of you who don't know, we're located at 3965 North Meridian, Suite G. So we're just in the southern half of our mid-north community. I am going to stop introducing myself and allow you to introduce yourself, if you would, please. And in your introduction, if you are a resident of the community, if you could say which community you're a resident of. But if you're a business owner, please share that information and any other information you'd like to share with us this evening. We are recording this. Correct.
And for those joining us on Zoom, if you can just speak loudly, our call is not working today, so just so you know.
And thank you. If you didn't hear my colleague, Krista, for those who are on Zoom, when you introduce yourself, if you could speak loudly, because we are experiencing some technical difficulties, but not too technical that we can't get past that. So I'm going to start at my immediate left and ask if you would introduce yourself.
I'm Kim Payne, and I own a lot right here. I guess it's down here. Have a house.
Okay, and Kim, you are a resident.
I have a lot of people in the house. I currently live in the second Keystone area.
Beautiful, thank you. Welcome.
I'm Andy. I'm a resident. I occupy Carville 52nd.
I'm Harry Webler. I'm also a resident of right at 46 in Ralston. I think so that would be in town. Bel Air property. Cool.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Anderson. I'm a resident of Bel Air and 49th Carolina.
Beth, resident 49th in Austin.
Cameron, 49th in Ralston, soon to be hopefully business owners in the neighborhood with Anderson.
Maybe this is also a moving market, but
Wow, cool.
talk about
Thanks.
that.
Hi, I'm Bert Red, and I'm one of the planners at the city division.
Do we have those on Zoom introduce themselves?
Thank you. And for, can't see who's on Zoom right now.
Jesse,
Pardon me.
you can start with Jesse.
Okay, Jesse, hi. If you could introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. My name is Jesse Rice. I own several businesses on 46th Street, and I am leading the 46th Street Coalition to sort of help with the Gateway project.
Thank you. Okay. Me too. Okay. Hi, Taylor.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
All right. My name is Taylor Firestein, and I work for Health by Design. So I'm kind of focused on the walking and biking aspect of our neighborhood. I actually live at 46th and the Monon, so like right on the edge between Meridian Kessler and the Keystone-Monon area. And I've lived here since the beginning of 2020. So still a relatively new resident of the area. And let's see, I heard about this planning process through the Midtown Indy email blasts. So obviously being a resident of the area, and user of the Monon and walker along 46th Street. I was really interested in joining and hearing about this effort. So thank you.
Taylor, thank you very much for that. Jesse, good evening, sir. Would you please introduce yourself? Is he
Yeah,
Zach?
happy to do that again, Janita. Is everything sound
Zach,
better
thank you.
now?
Would you please introduce yourself, sir?
Does everything sound better now, Janita? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
And Zach,
I
you
can hear
catch
you.
up with us
I can-
later.
I can hear
Audrey,
you,
good
Jesse.
evening. If you would kindly
Okay.
introduce yourself. And as Taylor shared earlier, if you prefer, you can continue on with how did you hear about the process? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Audrey Broadus. I'm
you
a
hear me?
resident of what I refer to as Sobro. I live at 54th and Roslyn. I heard about the planning process through social media, the 46th Street Coalition on Instagram, I think. I've also seen flyers inside Gold Leaf, and I received one in the mail, which reminded me about this meeting.
Thank you. Zach, were you able to join us? Please feel free to join in whenever you're able to do so. Michael, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Janita. Happy to see all of the folks showing out from the Keystone-Monon and Sobro communities. Hello, Jesse and Taylor Firestein from Health by Design. Excited to see everybody here tonight. Sorry I can't join you in person, but looking forward to the conversation and feedback from the community. Thank you, Janita.
And thank you. If I miss anyone else that's online, please feel free to join in.
Yeah, hi there. Can
Hearing
you?
none, I'm
Hi,
going
Mike.
to also introduce one of my other colleagues in the room, Brendan Powell.
All, I know a lot of places. So Brandon Powell, I live at 49 in Boston. So about 14 years. So I was in the neighborhood, let's see the growth. There's been a lot of changes in 14 years. So.
And when you get situated, would you mind joining me at this table so that we can be close to the mic? We're experiencing some technical concerns. I thank you. Awesome. And last but not least in the room is our technical guru, my colleague, Krista.
Hi, I'm Krista Kozaki. I'm the events engagement coordinator for Midtown.
I thank you so very much. We did hear some indicate how they heard about this meeting. And of course, as we're going along, please feel free to share how you learned about the meeting, because that will also help us in furthering sharing the information and getting the information in the correct manner so that we can have a fruitful engagement. But I wanted to tell you about Midtown Indy. For those of you who it may be new to and refreshing for others. Midtown Indy is a nonprofit organization. We've been serving Midtown 20 neighborhoods since 2007. We started off with 17 neighborhoods, I believe, and we've discovered that we have 3 new ones, so that's exciting. Midtown Indy was invited to convene and facilitate this planning process by neighborhood stakeholders. So we appreciate your confidence in us and working with us to help in the development of this plan. And so our role is to listen and to learn from neighbors and to serve as a liaison with the city, which we do well. And we're also here to provide staff to support in drafting a plan and working with the city to have that plan adopted. So we're really glad to have Brittany in the room with us. I mean, she is just an expert in that field. I've worked with her personally in a variety of capacities. So it's really good to see you. What a way to start the new year.
And Zach was able to type in the chat that he is a resident of Keystone-Monon and heard about the project from Instagram and this particular meeting through the email newsletter.
Wow, thank you. Cool things. All right, so I know it may seem a little stuffy, but please don't let it seem like it's stuffy because we're all here to get to know each other. We're all neighbors in some capacity or another. We live, work, or recreate in the community. And so oftentimes people will say, where and what is Keystone-Monon? And as you see on the screen in front of you, the borders are for the Monon Trail is west, 54th Street to the north, Keystone to the east, and 38th Street to the south. This does include the Bel Air neighborhood, which is Roslyn to Penwood, and it's between 46th and 52nd. Cameron, you were gonna, no, okay. So some of the assets, because there are a lot, of course, is the Indiana State Fair, the Indiana School for the Deaf, Arsenal Park, Broad Ripple, Haverford Little League, and multiple beloved small businesses and organizations. One of the other exciting features of this community is that historically it was affordable to low to moderate income buyers. So that is where and what Keystone-Monon is. We're always here to activate, connect, advocate, and revitalize. Anderson, yes, sir.
No, you're good.
No, tell
I
me.
giggled and said historic.
Historically. Okay.
Sort of certified plans for, right?
That's it, exactly. So, and of course, you know, I know you can read what's on the screen. I know we have some who are online who may be unable to view the screen. So that's why I'm reading some of it verbatim. We are recording the session so that others would be able to see and to participate in future endeavors. So what is a certified plan? I'm going to give the overview. I alluded to the fact that we have an expert in the room, so I'm going to put her on. I'm going to put her on the stage and have her to also assist in what is a certified plan. Is that okay with you, Brittany? You said I didn't come here for that, but she.
Hopefully, if you have any questions, I can help answer some of those questions.
Absolutely. So for what is a certified plan? It's a step-by-step process that's designed by the city of Indianapolis to encourage community excellence in planning by gathering input from neighborhood members across the entire demographic spectrum, segments and the user types, etc. It's a document of neighborhood preferences and aspirations to inform land use and zoning decisions by decision-making bodies. The Board of Zoning Appeals, the Metropolitan Development Commission, and City Council. The certified plan may be used by city staff to amend the city's comprehensive plan. It's used as a guiding infrastructure. It's used to help in the guiding of the infrastructure and the green space investments. And this process typically takes 18 to 24 months to complete. I'm going to stop right there for a moment, ask Brittany if she'd like to share any additional information.
Well, I just saw it on one of the previous slides. It says that the plan will be adopted. We no longer adopt neighborhood level plans. This certified plans play an important role in informing development decisions, but back in 2017, we transitioned away from neighborhood level plans. We had like I don't know, there were dozens of them. I think we had like nearly 60 neighborhood level plans, and it just became too much to update. We had some that were adopted back in the 80s all the way to like 2016. We weren't keeping up with them. So now, majority of those neighborhood level plans have been integrated into a countywide system. There were about 20 that weren't integrated, but the big plan is to integrate every neighborhood level plan. However, it's a really exciting time in our city because we have an update for the land use plan plan this year, and then also we're gonna adopt our first ever cultural equity plan. So that's a really good opportunity for you to make sure your vision is kind of captured in those planning processes. However, the goal of the certified plan is if there's anything not captured in the comprehensive plan, like if you want to talk about jobs or art or that sort of thing, you can really hone in on that being a certified plan and just make sure that your input is captured in the comprehensive plan.
Thank you. Did anyone have any questions of Brittany at this time, either online or in the room? Hey, good to see you. Awesome. I think Michael is still with us. Yes. Michael, hi. Did you want to go over the application outline?
Sure, Danita. The certified plan process is a critical process in terms of ensuring that we reach all stakeholders where they are and how they are, and that we welcome all input. This is probably the 10th or 12th meeting in a series of meetings. Nothing has happened yet. We're still talking. We're still meeting folks. And I think the really critical step in engaging with the city to start our formalized planning process really relates to establishing a steering committee. And so to the folks in the room and online and to others, the postcards were intended to be a notice that the planning process is starting. There'll be another one coming in a couple of weeks. But effectively, we can't start this process without your engagement and buy-in. And so really where we are is we're starting the process with the steering committee. It's going to take a year and a half to complete the process. What we want everyone to know is you're welcome to be part of the process. We want you to be here. And we don't have everyone here yet. And so we just need to keep trying and keep reaching out and keep sharing information. And hopefully over the course of the next couple of months, we'll see a large group of constituents here with questions and input. Thank you, Danita.
Thank you, Michael. I'm sorry. So as you see, we have the certified plan application. Michael and Brittany both have shared some of the information that you see are the steps that we have to take in the planning process. And not to sound redundant, but we've had a series of meetings. This is the 4th meeting that I've been involved in. And what I absolutely love about this whole process is that each time it gets more and more energy. And so while there are some who are unable to be here tonight, they've sent information regarding the certified plan and that they want to be involved. And it's going to be critical. I'll just use that word as Michael shared. That's one of our buzzwords around there. It is critical that we have all hands on deck for this process. As we're, yes, sir.
Oh, I was waiting for my name, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. So the documentation of the plan process and the governance, again, I'm sorry to be reading to you what you can read yourself, but I want us to be able to dialogue and ask questions so that we can together formulate this plan, the best plan for our community. So we're in the documentation and planning process so that we can get to the governance process, because the steering committee will have to be formed from the working groups and the task force and also the subcommittees. But we also all need to be ambassadors of this plan so that we can bring more people, more bodies, more ideas to the table, which is the reason you're here tonight, right after celebrating New Year's. We know you could have been anywhere, and this is very important to us. So the certified plan is online. We took it directly from the city's website, and you can go online at midtownindy.org and get it from our site, or even go to the city. If you need, or if you know someone who needs copies mailed to them, or we're happy to do so, but they can come by our office anytime and pick it up. And I'm always out, so I generally have copies of almost any and everything. So Brandon, yes.
I mean, I think just to, sorry, I stepped out, but I think we all understand what a certified plan is and why is it needed. A lot of communities don't have it, which I was kind of surprised about. Like, I'm working with an organization now, like Indy and whatnot, that do not have a certified plan. It's very much so a proactive way of getting involved with the neighborhood to be able to address like what the neighborhood wants and their desires. Other than running downtown every month to a zoning board hearing and demonstrating and whatnot. It's kind of getting the involvement of the community going. This is almost like planning out a master plan. So it's critical to actually have a lot of people in the room to be able to kind of gather or have that messy conversation to be able to construct the plan. So Midtown is walking us through crafting the certified plan. I think there's what, 4 neighborhoods total that have certified plans right now. And like, I think it's, to me, there's a sense of urgency on creating a plan, because I believe private goes quicker than public. So being able to have that group thing of saying, hey, this is what we want, like 46th Street. This is how we want to address some of the multi-family or single family flips that you see in the neighborhood. All of that can be put into a certified plan. Again, to me, the urgency of getting everyone to actually together is private. Some of these parcels are already, they're already engaged, right? So this is our proactive form. And it will, I think if you look at the area, I'm not sure if you talked about it, but the fairgrounds within our neighborhood, this document, I think will play a lot into saying how sort of
The Indiana School.
That's good. My wife teaches, she's actually a deaf and hard of hearing teacher for Washington Township, and I say, like, she knows in school, but their property is in play, right? They will be moving to the school of lawn campus, meaning that whole section is part of our neighborhood and can either be something that is actively engaged, like it becomes something special, or the fairgrounds assumes it and makes it into a parking lot. I think our certified plan will be one of the ones that will be able to kind of dictate. And it is a plan, but since it's certified by the city, that is state property, but still it gives us a say, a part of that conversation. So, and looking at 46th Street, it could either be a jewel or it could be, something that gets passed by. This will lay out on getting it to the point of like, there are people who are, there are entities that are sitting on land. this kind of like almost retroactively of saying, hey, this is what the neighborhood is asking for this to actually be positioned as. So, but I wish the city didn't make it so hard though to actually come up with these certified plans. That's my own take.
Thank you, Brandon. Any thoughts, ideas?
I hadn't realized that that's what's vacating, so that's interesting. A lot of options for that space.
Yeah, but it's going to be very contentious.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And that's holding up one of the.
I don't think it's necessarily holy
They don't know how to paths on the road when you set up with the property.
Really? I mean, it's the state, so they and the state supposedly in this year will be word is that a lot more open to like engagement of communities and especially Indianapolis. Don't know why.
Yeah, I think I came here tonight just because my concern about just traditionally it's a low to middle income neighborhood with affordable living. I want to make sure it stays that way through the development, that we still have affordable house, so I don't want, something happening in broader where we see apartment complex after apartment complex built,
Yeah.
and I want to see, like a plan that's going to support the people living here already.
Right.
As opposed to attracting, people who aren't.
Understood. Going on 46. Again, playing into like being able to speak into developments like that. Nothing bad, nothing against it. The condos that will go to the north side of the street.
I just want to make sure that we're conscious of how many are being built,
Yep.
and that there's, places where, existing.
Yeah.
I don't want a 3-foot story house built next to it.
You don't like both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understood.
I think we had some chats.
Audrey said, is there an example of an active certified plan for another neighborhood that we can see? It might be helpful. There are 4 certified plans and they live on the DOT's website as part of the certified planning process. So we can share that link out after the meeting.
Okay.
Someone who built that plan to actually come and walk with us, or like just say, hey, this is what it took to actually achieve it, and this is how it's been able to help us as well. So I wish that, I would actually need that. It would be helpful to have that type of feedback.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Anyone else? Thank you. And so as Brandon was sharing, why craft a certified plan now? And again, it's to provide guidance to the decision makers and the property owners. The land use and the zoning cases are reactive rather than proactive. And an adoptive plan documents the kind of development that we want to see, as you mentioned, Andy, in our neighborhoods and suitable locations. So to let Keystone-Monon get out in front of the changes in both commercial and residential real estate markets so that we can preserve the character of our neighborhood and the vitality and most importantly, the affordability. And also another reason is to understand the changing occupancy type, rentals versus home ownership, and maintaining the neighborhood diversity. So please feel free to jump in. Did we answer Audrey's question as well? Okay, thank you. So where have we been? We've had some informal working groups, as I shared earlier. They started meeting back in April of 2022, right?
Yeah, and we may have had some with Brandon even before that, but I think regarding this into TDS.
And so can you expound on that just a tad more?
Yeah, I think we first started talking about nickel plates type stuff, and we had the Benford 70-month person Benford folks come in. I feel like that was earlier than April last year, but that wasn't regarding our neighborhood plan, I guess. So, yeah, so 70 person Benford, that neighborhood kind of spearheaded that and has given us information as far as nickel plate trail development, but I think we've moved on. This group is completely separate in the sense that we're focusing strictly on the neighborhood here.
Okay, thank you. And yes, please, Cameron.
This postcard,
Yes.
I feel like the Bel Air neighborhood got overlooked with Midtown magazine for a long time. And we also got it with this postcard. We didn't get it. Oh, I got it. Oh, you did? Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we started getting Midtown magazine, but I don't know what's getting.
I haven't got the Midtown magazine. I used to be, it was like, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. Well, when you came to our Bel Air meeting, you were like, wait, you guys have never gotten a magazine?
Exactly.
It depends on, I will say, the mail carrier. Frequently, we use like direct door to door. So we pick the full zone. The zone is covered, whether it actually makes it there or not is not necessarily under our control.
Yeah. We know.
Yeah.
This is being recorded. We're not talking about the years.
But I'm glad you said that, because not only did we send it out door to door, we placed it strategically in
I definitely saw her on the neighborhood.
neighborhood, yes, locations, because we wanted to make sure people saw the postcard. I had the, I'll say privilege, because it gives me a privilege to be able to walk the neighborhoods. All of us can drive through the neighborhoods, and we miss so much when we just drive through. But when you walk through a neighborhood, you see so many things, and you get a chance to interact with your neighbors. And so I actually went to door on many of our neighboring community neighbors, and I said, hey, I just want to make sure you receive this in the mail. I know that sometimes the mail isn't always delivered. I don't always get mine. I get all of my bills. I never get I never get some of the things I really like to see, such as this. But some said yes, and most said no, unfortunately. And so we will just continue to keep sending the mail out, but that door to door and face-to-face conversation allowed for the interactions to talk about this meeting and upcoming opportunities for our neighbors. But we sent it out to 3,500 doors. And when I say doors, I'm talking residents as well as businesses.
I would say too, my wife and I printed 250, walked the neighborhood, went to all the businesses. I don't see it posted anywhere on Bel Air's Instagram, social media. You guys haven't made any effort, as far as I can see, to spread it. I'm sorry. There's a digital file on our website.
No,
and also you have internet access
To Bel Air's.
Gotcha. You can't use their. Yeah, I'm just defending them in the face of Bel Air not having information. Of course, they have.
No, it was just
Yeah.
But this is how we get information out, and this is how we receive information. So when I had the opportunity to go to the Bel Air Neighborhood Association meeting, I always carry Midtown information with me, and anybody else, any of our neighboring communities information with me to share, and learn that in Bel Air, they were not receiving the Midtown information. And so went right back to Midtown Indy, and immediately Bel Air was added to our map and our mailings. So please continue to let us know. And if you need any technical help, we'll be able to help in facilitating that information as well. But thank you. And I know you went door to door. I heard that you did.
Yeah, it's fine, but we mostly say South 46th Street. That's where we're trying to stay, 46th and 42nd.
And that's why I said we have to be ambassadors. Each one of us, we are a marketer of our own communities as well. And so you see, it said we mailed it to 3,500 homes. Now we will be doing another mailing very soon, and we'll send those out again to 3,500 homes. It'll be a little different. So if you, we welcome your ideas and help crafting that second mailing that we will be sending out very soon, because as you heard Brandon say, it's important that we get on top of this right now. We've been going for some time, and before we know it, that 18 to 24 months will be gone. And we want to show some results for the fruits of our labor. As many of you may know, that we received a $10,000 grant from the My Board Metropolitan Indianapolis Board of Realtors to assist in the facilitation of this certified plan, as well as an additional $5,000 from the National Association of Realtors. Again, that's to assist in the engaging of residents and building businesses, business owners and the stakeholders in this plan. So let me see, where are we on? What's next? So what's next is engaging more folks and creating those working committees so that we can get to that steering committee. And so I always share with my neighborhood board, each one bring one or two or three that have the same energy, have like energy, and definitely some of the same passion in seeing that our neighborhood flourish and look like the neighborhood that we want it to resemble. And so as we're, before we leave today, if you could leave the name or number, or even think of a few other people that you think would be good to be on this committee, please share that with me. And if not today, my cards are on the table and you can always send me a card. I unfortunately don't like to sleep much, so I'm always up. And you might get a reply email, not a text, because I don't want it to hit your phone and wake you, but I want you to see it first thing in the morning to your question. But identifying those, and we'll be identifying the roles and the processes, as well as the governing operations and ordinance. I did hear you, Brandon, when you said, let's make sure we get someone on this team as well. I know Michael is great. He's an expert in community engagement and development. But I hear you saying, let's also get someone who helped craft one of the other plans.
I think it's good just to understand like what's the end result.
Absolutely.
What's the document look like that's actually in place. One, I think letting people know what success for not.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll probably look to you to help us in identifying a person that will walk with us through this whole process, Brittany.
Yeah, I mean, the most important part of the certified planning process is having implementing partners, because you don't want your plan to sit on the shelf. So in addition to like getting that knowledge and information from other folks that have been on this journey, the implementation is critical. You need folks that are committed to seeing that through.
Thank you, Brandon. Would you?
Implementation, what's that?
Wherever you put the plan.
For the folks who are online, were you able to hear Brittany? I recall someone saying that they were having a little difficulty hearing her. Anybody in the room have any other questions of Brittany as she's talking about what that implementation looks like?
I'm still trying to believe it. I have the elementary version, so we have a plan, right? So say, for example, on that, on cleared lot A, neighborhood is like, hey, we love housing on it, right? And that lot trades or whatnot, and it's going to be a gas station. So what was it like?
So as far as implementation, there's like two different approaches that you can use with implementation. Like everyone's familiar with zoning and development. So when a zoning case comes through, you're planning to inform the decision that's made, right? But zoning is only one avenue for implementation. So if you have like, I don't know, there's so many things people put in plans like community gardens or wayfinding signage, even like crosswalk sidewalks, that sort of thing. You might be able to partner with DPW, so you can get on, so you can understand their processes when it comes to their, capital projects and that sort of thing, and making sure that their plans align with your community's vision. So just there's so many possibilities that can be part of your implementation. It's just really identifying, and I'm saying this and you're like so early in the process, but as you start thinking about the vision that you have, it'll become more concrete who you need to bring into the conversation.
Do the plans typically come from neighborhood associations or do they come from?
So most of the plans that we have most of the certified plans have been pretty much led with the assistance of LIST with their quality of life planning processes. And they've like helped convene a lot of the stakeholders and that sort of thing, in addition to providing that financial backing and stuff. But the neighborhood association, or I shouldn't say association, the neighborhood groups and like various stakeholders play a key role. So it's not, you have like a convening partner, which I would describe Midtown as a convening partner, but then also like all of the neighborhood associations, the churches, businesses, all those, I think that they're on equal levels. Yeah.
And they all have to agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, consensus will be will be a challenge, but yeah, and that's why we emphasize engagement is like so critical, because everyone has a different perspective when it comes to what they want in their neighborhood, and part of that, coming to that consensus is just having those conversations.
Sounds good.
18-24 months of it. It'll be lasting impact.
I think I find it like there's 3,500 postcards. I see the same faces kind of like wanting to that engaged. And I know my friends live in the neighborhood. It's like we need to do it here.
Yeah.
This or it will only become richer document or potential thing to want. I know that I think a lot of people actually don't know where they live. I think that's what that node kind of out. That was like really thought. I think that the plan also aided us defining like a neighborhood approach.
Well, it will make it more or is it advantageous, or it will make it more, it'll put it on the radar of people who want to invest. But then there's I don't want to say terms, but there will be a document that can aid them of this is what the community is asking for, and if you meet that, it might be a easier ride. So.
I think it's a good suggestion that planners have used as far as engagement and making sure that we get as many people involved as possible. So this setting is really important that you have this, we do it this way, but another way could be getting on the calendars or getting on agendas of meetings that are already happening. So you're not, creating another meeting. So whether that's, getting on neighborhood associations agenda or having churches make an announcement, maybe you can go to Bible study or something like that. Just identifying.
Got a lot of churches.
Yeah, what meetings are already happening and so we have a philosophy of going to the people instead of asking the people to come to us.
Right.
Because we found this.
What neighborhoods do have the plans? I mean, you said the ones that are like, that are listed, that aided them.
So near east,
Near East?
yeah, south side, south, I don't know which, there's two of them. There's so many neighborhoods on the south side.
Right.
So southeast and then I can't remember.
Yeah.
Is there a nearby?
Hey, Brandon, can you hear me?
Or a office area?
Yeah, Michael might know that.
So Brandon. For neighborhoods, which I think are the South Side, Indy, Lafayette Square Coalition, the Inglewood community around Washington and Arsenal, and that's about it.
Neighborhood out via the neighborhood plan, which we've had that. This is pretty new.
So if we have a change in administration, does this go away?
Oh, no, absolutely not. This isn't like a
No.
political process.
Right.
So comprehensive plans are required by state statute. So once in the vision, for the purpose of the comprehensive plan is to have the vision like 10 to 20 years in the future. And it's not an easy process to undertake for the city of Indianapolis. It's like multi-million-dollar process. And the certified plan process would complement that, or supplement the comprehensive plan. So.
Yeah, I guess some people, not just for me, but just in general, people were thinking, oh, well, if this is something new, is it something that will go away? And the city reverts back to, another way of looking at planning. So.
No, this is, like I said, it's a document that captures like 10 to 20 years into the future. But then also one of the great things about you all doing this right now is that you're basically operating parallel to a couple of major updates. So we haven't started an update to the countywide lands plan or the creation of the cultural master plan yet, but those will begin this year as well.
I know it's kind of silent in the room, but I'm gonna just go back for a moment, just based on all that you've heard today. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing the neighborhood right now?
I guess just from my experience, which isn't much, but it has been where consensus came up earlier, and that has been a struggle. Even when we all seem to be passionate and like-minded about the neighborhood, we seem to maybe have differences about plan for it, or even just asking, hey, what do you think we should call this area was a firestorm. I was getting like hate mail about it. So it's definitely very interesting, especially since we are in obviously early stages, but 18 to 24 months will be here and gone before we know it. And also, I think my main reason for coming tonight is I know Michael at the last meeting before he broke for the holidays was talking about we have this grant money that you all got that we have to spend soon. So there's a deadline on that. So it might seem like cart before the horse, but we have to spend that money soon. So then we also got another $10,000 grant for gateway signage. So we're gonna have to come up with a neighborhood name sooner than later. So
Your name.
yeah, just put my name. I got it really well.
Right.
Yeah, I'll try to stay in the shadows as much as possible. But yeah, I'm kind of like you, Danita. I don't sleep, so I am ready to just be everyone's tool to get these things done. We just have to come up with a couple of things pretty soon to spend that grant.
I think along those lines is getting people involved. It's like, it's fun. Yeah, exactly. I mean, to get people to come to a neighborhood association meeting is the worst.
It's not just here, it's like any meeting that you want to have in any community, no one should have done the same. There's a program.
Let's put the sign up that says Sobro and see how many.
I know. I was thinking like, people like, I should say something. But
Yeah.
I mean, when we were talking about certified plans, I've like Virgin Customers Neighborhood Association used to be like an executive director, they like 60K and like they rule, or not rule, but they were really organized. And I heard see,
Yeah.
like there's data, they've organized it comes out for 20 years. It's like mine now. So neighborhoods that are really like well, you think fluent, well suited, organized, I think struggle with it. I find it odd that we're the most social like society, but we're unsocial when it actually comes to things that we need to come together to be able to actually build.
It's a lot easier for me to make fun of you behind your back than to actually collaborate.
Yes.
Like, just let's be honest.
I do. I mean, I think that it's. Like, I think that you're talking about like for the neighborhood. Wise,
Yes.
Word gentrification.
Yes.
Like from a development standpoint, I'm always like, what do you expect? Like it's I think that's one that this neighborhood is, it's turning. It is clearly turning. I don't really know how you.
$2-bedroom house on the rocks.
A what?
It's a 2-bedroom, 300,000.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, we have 347 in the neighborhood, and we'll have $400,000 condos. Or, but I mean, that's one. I think when you're just talking about like issues, schooling. If you guys have school age kids, that's an issue that will be ongoing. That I think that this neighborhood has to address.
Don't read from me.
Huh? No, don't say that. So, what other street calming on 46th Street and 52nd Street, 49th?
There's 365 stop signs on that road.
Especially the fire truck, or the fire truck can go, but the police cars, I was like, bro, you're about to kill my kid. Yeah. I think other issues that the neighborhood's flipping. We have developers that are, our new single family homes are not for sale, they're rentals, which is really odd.
Even if they're affordable rentals, they're not.
Yeah.
There's not a thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that the neighborhood has to, we have a lot of, I think a lot of people have stressed about, we have a lot of like Airbnbs and whatnot, and the stress that comes with living next to an Airbnb. Our streets make us into 3 different neighborhoods. When you said you were passing out below 46th Street, I mean, we have a high is it transient? It's not transient. Yeah. Like, but most of our flips in this neighborhood are happening below 46th Street. I think that's an issue, right? How do you, 52nd in the Monon, it's not Meridian Kessler. 54th, I'm sorry, 54th in the Monon with all the, that development there. Like, how do you engage that little corner in the neighborhood. Why are we mentioning all these? Yeah. It's just a lot of, little things. The Mona or the nickel plate coming to town. Like,
We shouldn't have rid of the Keystone. That's a bad idea.
are you just being?
Being facetious.
Yeah.
Terrible.
We shouldn't. It's already been routed, basically, you know. And how does the neighborhood kind of feel about that? I think those are things that hopefully we can use the Midtown magazine to be able to broadcast about those things, so people can actually read it and whatnot. And say again.
I'm sorry.
I know, which is sad. I think really sad. But
That's, I guess, the nice thing about it. Two different properties.
yeah. So
But as neighborhood ambassadors, that's where we have power to come together. Change that. What are your thoughts? You, the biggest challenge you see for this neighborhood right now?
I don't know, positive growth, I guess, you know, like making sure, again, like making sure that like controlling giant, you know, he used the C word, but like giant corporations from coming in and like buying up all the property and that's charging too much for it, doing the same thing that we see on, you know, program alignment, right? Like, there's no businesses that exist there anymore. There's nothing. There are so many condos that go in. You know, the only way that you can actually be like a thing is to have like a club that just dumps booze, right? I'm in the booze business.
You're like, that's what I do.
Directly in the booze business. I love the booze business, but it's like yeah, I guess.
Are you talking, like, we do have an entity that owns maybe 30 homes in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, below 49th Street, between 52nd and 49th. Stuff, are you talking about
Who's the other?
Copastic Construction? It's not the name of the company, though. I mean, that's not to get to the actual.
It's Kirkpatrick, right?
No, Copastic, but it's actually Mark something. I know his name.
Is he a construction business or?
No, he's a property management company that bought the properties a long time ago, uses that as collateral, and will not improve his property. And we are going to zone him, or going to call every little inspector on all his homes this year.
Taylor from online says, in addition to traffic calming on the streets that were mentioned, Keystone is a blight and incredibly unsafe. In his opinion, the city missed an excellent opportunity to rethink that corridor when it was rebuilt a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Well, when you're kind of all things that we kind of talk about.
Thank you, Taylor. We look forward to you continuing to participate with us on this endeavor. Andy.
Yeah, just saying that smartly controlling how we smartly control development so that, you know,
Thank you. I'm just looking at you smiling because you know you're next.
I'm just to get information.
So what do you think is the biggest challenge that's facing our neighborhood right now?
I don't live in this neighborhood yet. I'm over here for the second. I thought this was about the trail. I didn't know it was about the this here, but I have a lot. I'm gonna build a house.
Okay, all right. And I'm not putting you on the spot. I thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm glad you're here. All right. Is there anyone online who, I thank you, Taylor, for sharing your thoughts on that. Is there anybody else online who wanted to interject who hasn't already? Okay. Where do we go from here, you guys? Because we want to make sure that we start making our meetings fruitful. We've heard some really great ideas on how to get more people engaged, involved, because you're right, 3,500 postcards sent out and not to have at least 1%.
What does it take, 7 times?
7 times before they real, yes. And so we're just gonna keep plugging away. Yes, continuing consistency. Yes, Brittany.
I just have a suggestion.
Oh, absolutely.
As important as it is to talk about challenges, I think it's also equally important to talk about the assets.
Assets,
of your
yes.
Community.
Mhm.
I think a really effective community development strategy is identifying the assets, like doing asset mapping in your community. Because there's a lot of things that are going well that could use some assistance with capacity. So I think that could be helpful. You named a lot of issues that aren't easily solved or will take a lot of effort. And to me, it's a lot easier to see what's going well and just make it even better than it is to like, perhaps look at these challenges that may seem insurmountable or like it's also great to have easy wins, you know, because what you just listed a number of like challenges, like the wins you would see with those are like way down the road. Yeah. So just asset mapping I think will be really important for your team. And then also
Like that.
it'll be helpful to get people like people like to talk about like what's going great.
Yes.
You know, because if you only talk about like the challenges, that's kind of discouraging. Why should we even be doing this?
Exactly. Thank you for that. I think Taylor chimed in and said, great suggestion, Britt. Cool things. And absolutely, and that's one of the reasons we started off with some of the assets in our community. But you're right, we need to constantly be mindful of that. And asset mapping is definitely a way to do it. And it's also a great way to get to know our neighbor. That's one of the easiest ways to get them to come out and being engaged and involved, but it also helps us to identify where those meetings that are already occurring are happening and when they're happening so that we can be proactive in that manner. And so I'm sorry, I almost lost my place for a second here. We're coming to the end of our time here, but I do want to let you know, just in case you're asked, this card, and for those who also helped create it, you would know, was not to rename the community, but just simply to say, what do you call where you live? And so it gives us another opportunity to talk to our neighbors and say, oh no, here's what that really means. So just make sure you continue to send them to the QR code. It hits the landing page that as a committee, we agree to the points that are on there. The landing page is on the Midtown Indy site. And we had talked about having future meetings on Wednesdays. Audrey just asked the question about that. I don't know if that's still a good day for most people. We had also indicated that the 5:30 hour seems to be the best time. And I see heads in the room affirming that Wednesdays are still good and 5:30 is still good. Audrey indicated that this conflicts with the Soul Grove Farmers Market. Is that correct?
Yeah, it does for an hour and a half.
Oh, okay. Well, we definitely wanted to. Mhm.
Yeah, I understood.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Anderson. What'd you say?
It's embarrassing for
Oh,
all of us to be in the same room as him right now.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear. So, but we'll have the next meeting. Well, when the farmer's market is still going on, right?
Yeah, that's on all budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're not meeting every Wednesday.
So, I already.
Okay, okay. Okay.
Didn't leave the neighborhood to go to the neighborhood.
Well, apparently not according to what Brandon was. No.
After the-
Right outside of the- Is it, it's 52nd, right? No.
Over the mountain.
It's over the mountain. Oh, yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. We don't care. No. This is the anti-song space. What?
We can take that.
That's recorded. Yeah, Eddie would know I'm joking.
So to bring us back, here's what we need from you. So we're going to be looking at the planning process. You've given us some great ideas on identifying a person who will walk alongside of us in this entire planning process that is very familiar with it from A to Z, as well as maybe identifying some items, some areas that we can start to build upon, like the asset mapping. But what it's going to take is it's going to take people more hands on deck, if you will. So again, I'm going to say we need to encourage our neighbors to participate. If they don't have a phone that can help them in scanning the QR code, and you do, please allow them to use that. Or if they want, they can give us a call. We can enter their information into our database so that we can continue to send them information as to what's going on. Because we want to, we need to start forming that steering committee. And we also need those small working groups to do that. So each one of us will be holding those meetings eventually somewhere else. Okay. And so if you know someone who's interested in being on a specific committee that is unable to be here tonight and they shared that with you, please again, let me know. They may have a passion about infrastructure or calming the traffic or whatever the component may be. Any thoughts?
So we need more people. Heard, got it. Sweet.
And we need, pardon me?
When's the next meeting?
I wanted to ask you, we can have one this month, or we can have one the first Wednesday in February. But if we have one this month, we need to make sure that we are meeting, not just to be hearing ourselves talk, we need to be having some action. We're doing calls to action right now.
Yeah, I suggest like having like a regular timer meeting each month so that if you tell someone, hey, I can't make it this week, they say, oh, next week. Really helps.
First one's just the first one's.
Yeah. Well, what we have been doing is we've been meeting twice a month, the first and third Wednesday. And at 5:30. And we would like to continue to keep those meetings a hybrid for those who are unable to attend in person for whatever that reason may be. We can continue that for the short haul so that we can get to those working group meetings so that those schedules can be set by those subcommittees themselves, if you like. I'm happy to do that.
That's well.
Is that good? Okay. Mhm. And I'm glad that we were here. This is my first time being able to visit the refinery. So this is a really cool space. And this gives people a chance to see what's in our neighborhood, as you talked about that asset mapping. And so if anyone would like to host the meeting at their facility and you have Wi-Fi capacity so that we can have the hybrid meeting, happy to be there at your location. And then, of course, we can always host it at Midtown Indy. Where would you like to meet next? On the 7th, is it the 17th? It's the 18th, January 18th at 5:30.
Do you want to get back here?
When I come here again, I can bring us all pizza if you want. The equalizer.
And we'll have our tech. We had this really cool owl. For most of you who have been to our office, we have this really cool owl system, but we were not going to let technology stop us from meeting today. So we went to the dual system. So she's playing like DJ Krista, going back and forth from the computer. She's doing a fabulous job, but we'll be here at the refinery and you'll help us get that set up. Cool beans. Any last minute thoughts, anyone? Brittany, will you be able to join us at the next meeting?
If me or someone else, I'll share with my team, but then I think it could also be helpful for us to have a plan for regular
A
communication.
full calendar. Okay, excellent. Most definitely. Did everyone sign in that's here in the room? And for those of you who are online, if you would please enter your contact information in the chat if you have not already done so, that would be most grateful. Again, we do record these and these are uploaded to our YouTube. Is that correct, Krista? And
Is
so,
that, will there be a link to the PowerPoint?
PowerPoint, yes,
We can, yeah.
absolutely.
That way it's not reloading. 5 seconds.
Brandon, did you want to close us out with any words of wisdom?
I think I said too much.
No.
I'm really excited for, I just think like, I think it's hard, but invite, more people to the table, be richer conversation, we'll achieve, good results that way. So, you can stop.
He said you can start recording. Thank you for coming, and we will see everyone on January 18th, 2023 at 5:30.
We're gonna